Okay, I'm here with Milo. Obviously, seeing there's no Milo in the shop. Milo's in the garage. Now, Milo had a couple of situations where there was a stressful situation, and he nipped a couple of people. And so after that, the guardian started putting him in the garage when guests come over. In this video, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks you can use to help a dog feel comfortable and actually enjoy having people come to your house. Now, Milo isn't territorial. He is a little, he has some capacity for it. And so we spent a lot of time off camera going over rules and structure and exercise. He's a high energy dog. And if your dog doesn't have a lot of rules, it sees you as a peer, and it's very easy for them to get confused and thinking, my job is to be, how I contribute to the group is to protect the house. And so we want the dog to know that's a job that we've got covered, we don't need you to do. Now, Milo being in the garage, if we're doing it with him in the garage, you could do this to start off with, but if somebody comes to the door and then we put him in the garage, he looks at people coming to the door as a punishment, because the worst punishment for dogs is to be excluded from the group. So after enough repetition, he will hate people coming over because it means he gets punished. So what we'd like to do is, if you have guests that are coming over here, if you're a guest that's going to come over, we'd like you to call ahead of time. Now, when you call ahead of time, you are going to take him to the stairs, hopefully as long as he's got that empty stomach, and you're going to spend about 5 to 7 minutes throwing this treat up and down the stairs to deplete his energy. He needs at least 10 minutes between the end of that exercise before the person comes to the door, at least. Now, the clients here are kind of a little bit further away from everybody, so that should be easy to achieve. We're just planning it out ahead of time. So we've exercised him and depleted that excess energy. I'm going to show you where the garage is. So when the guests come in, I would have them maybe don't even have a knock at the door. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on, some things you can do to make the doorbell or the knock a positive thing. So basically the guests come over and they're waiting at the door, they're not knocking, you go and open the door, let them in, and then as a guest, we're gonna give you some treats. I'm using freeze-dried beef liver here, but you can use anything. So as long as it's a high value treat that he likes. I know he likes these, we've already been working with him. So what the guest is gonna do is we're gonna come over here and you're gonna follow me, and we're gonna come into the little mudroom area. This is where the garage is. Now, when I did this, when I first came in here, the door was locked, and when I did this, he started to come out almost immediately as soon as I opened the door, because he heard this, and it's an indicator. So what I would do is I would just keep the door locked, but not, or closed, but not locked. So the idea is for the guests to come over very quietly, and you probably won't see Leo, Milo in this one, but that's okay. So the guests are gonna come over here, they have the high value train treat, and they're not gonna let him escape. So we're gonna open it, throw a treat, and then close it. And try to have the light on in the garage so he can see the treat. So basically what happened is we opened the door. He should be in a calm state of mind at this point because nothing exciting has happened. We opened the door just a little bit, I throw a treat in. He got to see me, and then a treat fell in. He probably wasn't looking at the treat at first, but then he's like, oh my God, this is my delicious treats. So I just saw somebody new, and then after I saw them, something great happened. So then I would have the guests go, and I'm not going to do it back and forth because there's a video condensing it. But basically you go, sit down for a minute, wait about 30 to 60 seconds, and then the guest's going to quietly come back over here, trying to do it so he can't even hear it. You just open the door, toss it, and then go back in there. Wait about another minute. I'd like you to do this about 4 to 8 treats. And then eventually what you're going to do is you're going to open the door, and I would probably, I don't think you have to worry about it, but just as a safeguard, put your foot here just to prevent the door from opening all the way. So now he can come here, but he can't make it all the way out. Friendly. Now what I would do is I would have the guardians who live here practice this. Put him in here, open the door, Milo. Friendly. As the word I'm assigning, you call it amigo or whatever, we just want to create a positive association. So now he gets over here and it's you, the primary guardian. So he is comfortable with you, he has no problems to do it. We want him to practice this behavior, so this is normal. Sometimes they just open the door and they hold out a treat and I take it. So after you do this, so the first stage is you're gonna come over here, toss the treat, close, open the door real quick, not too big, toss the treat, close it, go sit down. You're gonna do that about 4 to 6 times. Then you're gonna come over, open the door, and do holding the treat, and holding your fingertips so that he can take it. And then eventually, after you do it the last time, Milo, then you're gonna let him come through. So now we created an association, and for dogs, if seeing the person precedes getting a treat, after a while, seeing a new person here means I'm about to be rewarded, and that makes it a positive association and something he looks forward to. All right, I'm gonna have Taylor back up, and I'm gonna show you another little trick. Now, we don't have a doorbell, correct? Okay, So basically, a lot of times when we hear the knock at the door, that makes the dog rush to the door because the door's going to open and new people are going to come in, and he thinks he's his job is to be a guard dog. So that the door knock is going to cause him to go over there. So I showed a little off camera what we can do to help the dog move away from there, but I'm going to show you something even more basic and easy. Milo. So I have the chicken, and I'm going to have you come a little closer if you could. So I have these chicken liver treats. These are soft. It looks like a pellet here, but I can squish it and now it's like a pancake. Now the first couple of times you do this, I would have you guys do this, so I'm letting him nibble on it. Now if you notice, I can make him look in whatever direction I want, and I'm squishing it so he has to get it in a couple of little bites. He should get about 3 to 5 bites. So now I can get him to look at the guest while he's having a treat, or I can do something like this. And normally if I knock, he runs to the door. So what I could do is sit. You don't have to put him as sit. At first, when the knocking, you saw he looked at it, he took one step, but he came back for the treats. Milo, sit. So the first couple times, this is a little bit of counter conditioning. Now, I'll probably have somebody put in the comments he's doing the counter conditioning wrong. I do it this way intentionally. So basically, the first thing, I don't want him to run to the door. And if I knock without giving him the treat first, that's what he's going to do. You saw he started to do that. So sit. Sitting isn't a bad thing to put him in because it's more of a subordinate position. So the first couple of times, and you guys might do this yourselves without anybody at the door. Sit. So first we're gonna, the whole time that he's chewing on the treat. You do that 3 to 5 treats. Then what we're gonna do is, then he gets the treat. So the knock is a positive thing. Milo? Yes, I see you got the bully stick. Sit. It's like, I got what I want. So you wanna pick and choose your battles. So basically, what we want to do is get him conditioned that the knock at the door, matter of fact, and then he gets a treat. And he's not running to the door. Now we do this independent of anybody at the door. So this is something for this part of the video is for the guardians to do. So that he hears the knock, and I would do it, dogs don't generalize well. So don't just do it sitting here. Do it over there, bedroom, upstairs, all over the house. So a knock at the door means nothing's gonna happen. Now, something else you can do is when you're watching TV or just hanging out as a family and there's no reason, there's nobody driving by, there's nobody who's coming by, every once in a while, hey Milo, simulate a knock. And then nobody comes in and you don't go to the door. This desensitizes him and conditions him not to run to the door when he hears the knock. You're just like, whatever, it's the wind. We're out kind of outside the city and so it blows. And so after a while, we condition him so the knock doesn't trigger. Now he's seen me do it. A lot of times I try to do it without the dog seeing me. Oh, that's a good trusting position. He's such a good dog. Yes, you are. From Haiti. And so the idea is we just want to create these positive associations. Now, this part, I guess the middle part is for you. Now the last part is going to be for the guests. You talked about ordering one of these. This is a mini treat pouch from PetSafe. This is the mini. The small is this big. So get the mini if you're going to get it. So I'd get maybe 2 of them. Loaded, and basically I would load it up with the high-value chicken liver treats or the freeze-dried beef liver treats. So now when the guest comes in, the guest has those delicious treats that I like. And so the guest is going to be able to give him treats. Now, if he is calm and if he's doing something, if he's excited, we're going to ignore him. And that's why we talked about, that's all right. No, I don't need him for the rest. So if he's calm, that's why we exercise him first. So then what the guest does is every time Milo comes up to him, they can reach over here, pull out a treat. Milo. Now they're not going to call him. They're going to wait for him to do it organically. Sit. Well, he's got a treat, a bully stick. So let's practice your drop. It's like, no, I'm not going to drop it here. So basically what we want to do is, there we go. This is exactly right. Well, if he was standing, I would say sit, sit. So you're going to say what to do. You tell him to sit, or I believe the guardian's going to work out the word crash for lay down. So basically we're going to ask him to crash or sit or lay down. Crash means lay down. We do not practice the shake. Does he know how to shake on command? Okay, good. Don't practice that at all. It confuses dogs and gives them a lot of trouble. So every time that the dog comes up to the guest now, the guest is going to tell the dog to sit or to lay down. And if the dog does it within 3 seconds, they pull out a treat, put it in his mouth, and then say the word. So you're going to say it twice. Sit. When the dog sits, we put the treat in their mouth and say sit again. Preferably, or not preferably, always after the treat goes in their mouth. So now the dog knows if I go to this new person and I do what the new person asked me to do, something good happens. And after a while, instead of having a negative association, I'm put away, I'm punished, I've been exercised, I'm calm, and I'm getting a lot of positive reinforcement with the new people. So now, one other thing you could do is teach him how to catch. Does he know how to catch?
Yeah.
Okay, so if the dog is a little standoffish, if he doesn't want to come towards the person, don't enforce it. That's why I'm telling the guest for the middle part of this video, don't say, Milo, come. I did it here for demonstration purposes. I want you just to have the treats, and when Milo comes to you, then you tell him to sit. And if he walks away, that's fine. Don't ask him to do it multiple times. Eventually, he'll come over, and when he sits, give him that treat and say sit the second time. After a while, he'll start doing it more and more often. But let's say he's standoffish, and he's about as far away as the camera is, and that's as close as he'll get to the guest. And I have a lot of clients like, my dog is racist. It's not racist, just never maybe didn't meet somebody of light-colored skin, probably most likely from where he's from, or a person with a turban, or a beard, or a woman in a dress, or whatever. There's a million things that he just might not be comfortable with. So if he's standoffish, don't try to encourage him. What I want to do is create a positive association. So I can do it one of two ways. If he knows how to catch, the guest can play the catch game with him. Tell him to sit, and then throw the treat. And when we do it, we always go 1, 2, and then the dogs are looking, and we throw the third one, it hits their head. So what we want to do is just throw it on the first one, and if he catches it, say the word catch. So now the guest can interact with Milo at whatever distance Milo feels comfortable, and every time he interacts with the guest, again, a positive thing happens. Now, Milo is about 10 feet away over there. We don't have to show him, but let's say that he wouldn't come all the way towards me. Milo, I might throw a treat halfway distance. He comes and gets it. Now, he likes me, but let's say he doesn't like the guest, and he comes very cautiously, and his back leg is like this, and he snatches the treat and runs away. The guest should keep on repeating, throwing that treat to that spot until he's got his, he's got a bully stick in his mouth too. But the idea is to gradually get him closer. So let's say the dog's 10 feet away. I throw the treat 5 feet in the middle, come, and he won't come and get it. Then I would throw it between the treat at 5 feet and Milo, so maybe it's at 7 feet now. What the idea is we keep on tossing the treat. If he only takes a lean towards the guest, that's progress. Next time it'll be a little bit more of a lean. Next time it might be 1 step to 2 steps, come. The idea is to make every time I approach on my own. The nurse is not saying come, they're throwing a treat, and if I come towards them, I get the treat and I get to run away. They don't have to pet me. And after a while, he'll come closer and closer and closer, and eventually he comes close enough, the guest can ask him to sit. And if that's this sort of situation, that guest might not ask him to sit at first, might just offer the treat. And it's best, also for the guest, front facing is confrontational. So the guest, when they're treating, if possible, if he's leery, have them hold it a flat hand off to their side instead of front facing, which can be confrontational. And so, good. Celebrate there, I like that. And so now the guest, again, the dog has this positive association with the guest. Milo, come here, buddy. Sit. I have a treat here for you. You got to drop the bully stick and come here. Milo, there you go. Sitting is a more supportive position. We like him to, if he can. Okay, well, this is handsome fellow is Milo. And these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have guests that come over. Oh, I was going to say one other thing I forgot. Let's say that this represents Milo's nose. And I'm the guest and I want to pet Milo. We think petting is a good positive thing, and it can be. But if you think someone's creepy and they come up and give you a shoulder massage, even though you like shoulder massage, you didn't want it from that person. So he might not want the person to interact with him. But we think because what I'm doing is a positive thing, it's okay for me to touch you without you wanting it. The way he'll say, I don't want you to pet me, is he's gonna, when you reach for him, the hand comes here, he's gonna go like this, or back up, or lower his head. And so what I'd like your guests to do when they go to pet him, if this is the nose, to reach this far and stop. Reach 90% of the way and stop. Let the dog take the last 10%. If he does that, then you can try to pet him, but if you reach for him, he pulls away, pull away and stop yourself. The more that he thinks this person is listening to me, when I turn my head to the side, they stop trying to engage with me, I can have more trust with them. And after a while, he'll be more relaxed. And the guest should not be in a hurry to pet him. So don't worry about the petting him, but getting the treats first. When he comes over and he's like close enough, he's sitting next to you, then you can start reaching to pet him and all that. But again, reach 90% of the way. Let him take that last little 10%. All right, that was Milo. These are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that's reactive or fearful of guests that come and visit your home.